Just want to thank you all for coming to our PinnyPal Trading, Collecting, and Community panel. We're going to go ahead and just do some real quick introductions here, who we are, and kind of a little bit of background about ourselves. We'll go ahead and start with May.
Hi, I'm MayWest on the PinnyPals site, and I've been collecting since 2013 because the first PAX East I went to is when they first released the pins, and that kind of, it's like, oh, it gives me something extra to do at PAX, and then I got hooked.
Hello, my community name is Frostbyte, and I started in Prime of 13 with a lot of people that I'm looking at right now, and I've been kind of full bore ever since, and just love the community.
My name's Evan, or evanephrine on the forums, and I got started East 14, which is my first PAX, and now I'm just kind of here. I'm one of the non-completionists, and yeah, well, you flatterer. And I'm like giddy excited to be here right now, so thank you all for coming.
My name's Mike. I'm rentfn on the forums. I started at East 13. I saw Mike's post about it. I like Disney pins, I like Olympic pins, so I just wanted to throw more money away. And again, I'm so excited to be here too, and thank you guys so much for starting your Saturday with us.
My name on the community forums is Fate. If you ask about a scarf, it has become what I wear all the time, so.
The scarf is indeed his identity.
It is. So I started in Prime 13. I started getting a few free pins, wasn't too into it, and then I saw all the other pins, and it's a downward slope.
My name is John Gipson. I go by Qumaden or Q on the internet. I'm just going to kind of MC a little bit here and we'll get started. We're just going to kind of go through a lot of different things. We're going to cover some of the history of Pinny Arcade and how pin trading and all that got started. We're going to talk about trading, how you should trade, why you should trade, things like that. We'll talk more about our community that a lot of you are already part of, and of those of you who are not part of are now part of. We're going to discuss a little bit about the concepts of pin value, like should I make this trade, should I not make this trade, things like that. And then we're going to talk about some of the pins you can find here at PAX South 2016. And then I will talk a little bit about what to do with your pins now that you've got them. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started here with Frostbyte, and he'll give us a little bit of a history lesson.
Alrighty. So to understand where Pinny Arcade came from, we need to go back a little in time. Lapel pins have existed. Is this too much? Is that okay? Can you guys hear me perfectly? Okay. Lapel pins is kind of where these things began. The Olympics, as far back as the early 20th century, is where pin trading kind of got its grassroots. As you can, I put a couple dates up there. I'm not going to read all that. You can read it. But it's interesting to see the evolution over the different Olympics and how they just started off as pins that were traded amongst the competitors, and then over time it just became larger and larger and larger and snowballed. And you can see, in the 80s we became, in the early 90s there were millions of people, collecting these pins. So that's where pin trading as we know it today kind of began. From there, it was sort of fleshed out by Disney. A lot of you are familiar with the Disney pin trading program. It's something that they began as part of the Millennial Celebration about 15 years ago. And as I was making this, I looked on the database that you can find online. And as it says here, there's over 110,000 unique pin designs currently in the in the Disney pin trading program. So that's quite a lot.
How many pins do we have?
323.
323?
This guy.
Is that with this back?
There you go.
That's with this.
Is that with
That's
the?
with the triad pin.
No, is that with the Wheel of Fine that showed up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Randomly shows up at PAX. What is this pin?
There you go. Yeah, we'll get there someday. Someday. Yeah. All right, so that brings us to Pinny Arcade. So a lot of you know Gabe as Mike Krahulik. Him and his family are big Disney fans. They go down to Disneyland and Disney World whenever they get a chance. And Mike got into the pin trading down there. Specifically, he's big into collecting the Star Wars pins, from what he's told me. So I think after one of their vacations, he came back and they were sitting around the office pitching ideas. And I think he kind of just pitched the idea to Robert Koo, like, hey, I have a great idea, something we can do to help, make PAX a better experience for people that want to pass the time or start collecting things. And Koo said, I love money. I love this idea, so let's get this pin trading program started. And boom, Pinny Arcade was born. And that's abbreviated, but essentially how it all started. And that's for me.
So now we need to get back down to the brass tacks of how trading pins, how and why. So why do you want to trade a pin? Well, because I have this pin in my hand, but that's really bright and shiny and pretty over there, and I like that pin better than this pin, so would you trade with me? It's a great reason. Another reason might be that, wow, I have a whole lanyard of anarchies here, and there's a cold Overwatch over there, or there's an evil versus evil there that I just love and I gotta have, so can I give you an anarchy or maybe 2 anarchies for it? Because I have one and I want that other. And to me, the best reason to trade is just to meet new people, make new friends. This community has been so awesome. It has just totally enriched my PAX experience, getting into this hobby and meeting all these wonderful people. So it's the best reason to trade. When you do trade, you do want to remember the ABEs of trading. A being always ask, before looking, before touching, and before trading. Don't just assume that someone wants you to pick up their lanyard or touch their pins. Especially be aware of women because of where lanyards are, which is one of the reasons I like having a bag. So always ask. And always be polite because, a lot of people wear a lanyard that it's their show lanyard and they're wearing to say, I love these pins, I want to show them off, and they're special to me. I'm not trading it, and that's fine. And the third most important thing is just enjoy. It's a fun hobby, just have a good time with it. So, on to the pin trading community.
All right, so welcome. You're now in it. Congratulations. One of
Community
us.
hype.
One of us. All right, so at PAX, there's plenty of things to do, including the pre-PAX dinner. Sadly, you've missed. We try to get together on Thursday night and go out to a restaurant. We had 30 plus this year, I think.
We were up to 45.
45. We went to the Republic of Texas Thursday, and that was really good. That picture is from Prime. I think last year was our first community dinner, and we had like 50 people. They're at East and Prime. Australia has one too, so that's a great thing to do. The Pin Panel, thank you very much for coming, is another event to do at PAX. The staff trading event is today at 1 p.m. in the Q Hall. That is where the whole Penny Arcade staff will be there at tables, and they'll have their staff heads in front of them among various other pins, and you can trade 1 for 1. Sometimes they do games to just spice it up a little bit, which is fun, but I'm not sure if the games are coming this year because it takes a lot of time.
It's a great place to get your collection started. They have to trade 1-to-1 anything if they're a PA staffer.
And a lot of us, if we have all the pins, we have a lot of extra pins. We put really good pins down because we want newer people to pick those pins up. And it's a lot easier for us, I think mentally probably a lot of times, to just put that pin for the staff, knowing that somebody else is going to pick that up that doesn't have that pin. So it is a really good way to get a lot of pins that you may not be able to get.
And so that's 1 p.m. in the Q Hall. It goes for 2 hours, I believe, till 3. Get there a little early. It caps. I'm not sure if this year it'll cap, but just in cases. Then we've also started a daily community trading event, which we started yesterday, and it was amazing. There was a great turnout.
Was anyone there yesterday? Show of hands.
Nice. Thank you guys so
Awesome.
much. We moved it like in the last minute. It's actually in the main entrance hall across from the escalators. So the other opposite side from where the main theater queue is. It's the main entrance hall. And that's going to be 5:30 to 6:30 today, and then 3 to 4 tomorrow. It's another way to just, if you have a panel you want to go to instead of the staff trading, it's a good way to just meet the community one-on-one. We had a really good turnout yesterday, and
Yeah.
we should be there the rest of the weekend. So non-PAX. It's not always PAX. Sadly, PAX Land isn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
So there's some pictures of the top is from the New England. We had a Massachusetts, New Hampshire meetup where we went to an arcade and a sub shop. It was good times.
Got dragons.
We got dragons. And then the other picture is from the Australian pre-PAX dinner. So they do exist. Online resources. Number one is the official Pinny Arcade forums on pennyarcade.com. When you get home, you got the post-PAX blues. Go create a screen name and go to the Pinny Arcade forums. It's PAX all year, talking about pins all year. You'll know about new releases to the store, what will be at the future PAXs and stuff. And then if you want to keep trading throughout the year, PinnyPals.com is a great site where you can build your virtual lanyard. It's got every pin that is available. You can post if you have it, if you want it, or if it's just you have it collected and it's not available for trade.
Even if you don't want to trade, it's a great way to just keep an inventory.
Just to keep an inventory of what you have. We also do a Pinny Secret Santa through that website each year. This was the second year this year. And that's also through the podcast, which I'll get to in a second. We also have, we use WhatsApp and Slack to communicate throughout the year. Some use just one app. Most people use both. I like WhatsApp a little bit better, but I'm in the minority, I think. And then we have the PinnyPal podcast, which is pinnypalspodcast.podbean.com, right? Or you can subscribe to it right on iTunes. And that's hosted by Pure Evil with guests Pedro Sani, Agro Craig, now hiring henchmen. Ducky's on it a lot. We do. Frost, you're on it a lot too.
Many guest appearances.
We do some post-PAX. We get a bunch of people together in a room and talk about it. They talk about the pins coming up. They just did the first annual Pinny Awards for last year, and that was really fun.
Congratulations to MayWest for winning PinPals
Yeah,
of the year.
community member of the year, MayWest, award-winning panel.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
I got virtual pin for it.
We got really
And
excited.
also on PinnyPals, not just collecting pins is enough. We also, George Monkey is the one who runs it, who is amazing. I want to give a round of applause for him. He does it all himself. He's also added achievements now to the website. And as you leave today, you are going to receive a little slip of paper where you can get your own stamp for coming to the panel, which we thank you very much again for coming. That is the information for Slack. If you have your QR code, you want to scan it. It'll also appear at the end of the slides if you want to join Slack. If you want to join WhatsApp, it's a little trickier. Talk to Fate. He's an admin.
I have the admin to the main channel, and I have the admin to this channel, because every PAX, we create a new Slack channel. So if you're going to East,
and WhatsApp channel.
and yeah, sorry, I was thinking WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Why did I say Slack?
What's
No,
that?
it's Slack.
Sounds so good.
Yeah, so the WhatsApp channel, every time there will be a new one. So if you're going to East, ask in the main channel, they'll put you into that Slack for that individual.
So if you have any downtime, you're wondering where some PinnyPals are, you can anyone want to play a tabletop game, boom, get a group. Want to do some trading, boom.
We've been playing Secret Hitler for the past 2 nights.
There's been a lot of Secret Hitler.
Surprisingly,
playing.
we're still friends.
And Evan is really good.
And again, thank you guys so much for coming, and welcome to the community. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
All right. I'm up now. You guys got to deal with me. So one of the biggest questions that a lot of us usually ask each other and get asked by newer traders is, is this a good pin? Is this trade worth it? How do I know what's good and not? Stuff like that. Has anyone ever had that kind of question before? All right. So if you have that kind of question, make sure you ask, because that's one of the best ways to figure it out. So there is no set thing. Everything's relative because everyone is going to value these shiny things differently. We have an attempt to order them by their popularity or value on pinmash.info. I guess .com is just out of the question. And so basically what that is, you see a picture over there. It's like a hot or not thing. You choose between the two. That's what it is.
But it's much more addicting.
Yeah,
You won't
actually,
put it
yes. So basically you choose, whichever one you do choose gets a point, whichever, or whatever. And whichever one doesn't loses points, and then at the end you see a big old list of the relative rankings. That's to be taken with a grain of salt. It's not going to be a perfect thing because everyone's going to vote differently.
And people vote differently also based on how new the pin is or if they have it or not, so,
Pin hype is real.
And I think Kempers are always pretty high up there, because I think a lot of you guys like Kempers.
Kitties. So, that being said, there are some general guidelines you can use in order to, try and figure it out on your own. So, here are the barely cut off 5 points of pin value. All credit goes to our community member, Serpico BC. He initially created these, and I'm adapting them. So the first one we have is the print run. That is physically how many pins exist in the world. So some rarer pins will have smaller print runs, like of 300 or something like that. More popular ones that really get out there, they'll be printed 2,000 or have reprints of multiple times they've made them. Basically, that's just how many real things are there in the world. The second one is the difficulty. How many hoops you had to jump through in order to get it initially, and how many are left in the wild. So first one, some pins are harder to get than others. At this PAX, you can go up to wherever pins are and buy them. Pretty straightforward. Other PAXs, it is not that simple. There are free pins. Usually, whoever's giving those out, you have to demo a game or go find a guy running around an expo hall. Some enjoy that a little bit more. Yes, if you're not familiar with the Leroy Jenkins pin, it was a whole debacle. That's all I'm going to say. And so how many left in the wild? Basically, as time goes on, these pins will settle into collections. And, people will mount them on their walls and stare at them for, hours on end every day like I do. And, those aren't going to be traded out. Those aren't going to go back into the wild, so to say. So those won't be in the pool of available pins. That happens a lot with pins that started coming out in 2013 now. They're kind of getting to that point where they're not as available anymore. So price, again, you can go up and buy it. If a pin costs $5 versus a pin that costs $15, you're going to value one more than the other because money. Design and sentiment, this is a big one. Who here has a favorite video game? Yeah, okay. So, if a pin were to be released from that video game, even if, they gave it away for free to everyone that saw them at their booth that day, you'd probably value that a little bit more because it's your favorite or because it's a gorgeous design than if you were to go up to the merch booth and buy one, and even though you spent money on that versus a free one, you like it more, right? Okay, so, trying to think of an example of that. Help me out here, guys. Huh?
Gold Overwatch, Leroy, Hearthstone.
Well,
Snow?
for me, last year at Prime, Double Fine started doing pins. And
Okay.
they did a Psychonauts pin and just their logo pin. And I love Double Fine. I love Tim Schafer. And now he's doing a Full Throttle re-release. So I'm fingers crossed for a Full Throttle pin. That would be number one for me.
Yeah.
Just because personally, I love
Another
that
one
game.
was Star Trek Timelines. I think you could go through their booth. It's it's a Star Trek pin. Everyone's going to love a Star Trek pin, even if you're not a pin collector.
It is a
That's
gorgeous pin.
also ties into the wild. Sometimes pin don't always go to pin collectors. Fancy that. So my big one is the Anarchy pin here. she is my favorite, even though she's a common pin, but I think she's worth more because look at that. She's got a bat left. So sometimes you feel a little bit more strongly about one or the other. And then the last one is hype. If something just gets discovered or something just gets released, it's going to be worth a little bit more at the beginning there because people will be like, oh, I need it now. And we see that happen a lot. If you're familiar with like the blind merch, it was definitely valued a lot more went towards the beginning. But real quick question, actually. I've been kind of dropping names of pins. If anyone does not know what I'm talking about when we mention a pin name, just raise your hand and we'll explain it. Sound good? The blind merch?
I don't think we have time for.
So every so often, PA will release blind sets that you can buy online. And one time when they did this, they added a new pin without telling anyone, and everyone freaked out.
It was a limited edition 500 print run pin that you could only get through the blind merch boxes, and we just call it blind merch because it's got blindfold on them. And the pin community went crazy when the first person opened one and said, oh my God, look what I got, and it's a limited edition of 500.
Yeah, it's in gold Shatterbrick, so. All right, so using those kind of 5 points, you can kind of figure out what pins mean to you and what kind of trades do you make. There's never going to be an official ranking. I don't think that's even possible. But if they were to, PA staff were to put one out, I don't even know how well we'd adhere to it. So, but again, this is a community. There are a lot of people doing this. Everyone's always happy to help. I've never met an unkind Pinny Pal. So if you're ever confused, ask people around you, ask people with the pin bags, ask people with lanyards. We'll give advice. Always happy to do it. And last thing, despite anyone else's judgment on you, if both parties come out of a trade and they're like, you have a pin that I need, I have a pin that you need, doesn't even matter the value, we'll trade them. We're all happy. That's all that really matters in the end for a trade. So
That
as
makes
long
a
as
good
you're
trade.
happy, we're happy.
All right, so I'm up. So what pins can you get at this PAX? How many pins, let me think about this, how to phrase this. How many pins do you guys all think are at this PAX? 9? Is that what about everyone thinks? There's kind of 10.
There's more than 10.
Well, 10 that we didn't know before this PAX.
Okay.
So let's get started and we'll get into that. So there's always a show set and there's always a show limited edition pin thus far. So every set has a unique set of pins. The show set is always 4 pins. A lot of times that show set has a Kemper. I've heard a lot of, do you know why there's not a Kemper this year? And I don't know what to tell you.
It happens.
So they probably like to switch it up a little bit, and I'm sure he'll come back. So that set is always good to buy because it's the best value pin that you can buy at a show if you need pins to trade with staff. You can get those pins for $30 for 4 of them, so $7.50 a piece. A lot of the pins you get from third party are 15 to 20, some of them are 10. Still, this is going to be your best bet. Then there's always the limited edition pin. The limited edition pin is always $15 at the merch, and if you are on the forums or on Slack or WhatsApp, it got out there pretty quick. We were actually in a discussion about this, but the limited edition pin originally was orange. I don't know if you guys saw it was orange. It is yellow. I want to put this out there as not PA's fault at all. It was a mistake, but it wasn't their fault, and they're going to end up doing a different pin from Australia to,
Well, potentially.
well, they're not going to do a yellow pin.
Probably shouldn't speak for them.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, based on what we said, or based on what we discussed, they might do a different pin, I should say, I guess. Anyways, if you spend $100 at merch, you get a merch pin. That is either another good pin for your collection, or it is another good pin to trade with staff. There's a merch pin. I think. I can't see it.
It's probably a merch pin.
Next one?
Yeah. The next pins that we have, there's the third-party show pins. So on the website, there were four third-party show pins. The first one was Matriarch's pin. Get it from Greater Than Games, and it's in tabletop. It is for purchase is $16.23 after tax. That one's just flat. Doesn't matter if it's cash or card. $16.23.
On a side note, Sentinels of the Multiverse is a great card game to play if you haven't played it. And
Shameless plug.
sorry, that's I love that pin.
That's actually a good point. Sorry, do you mind if I
No,
interject?
no.
If there's a third-party developer putting out a pin, it's usually a good idea to actually try, look into their game too. I mean, these are essentially marketing tools for them. So, I mean, if you're in it just for the pins, that's fine. But sometimes you can find some really cool stuff this way too.
And the next one was a Surprise Attack Ninja pin. That one's at Surprise Attack Games. That one's at booth 11102. They also have Screen Sheet. They came over from OS. If you want to go talk to them, they're great people. I have to say that's my favorite probably out of them.
That one's cash only, isn't it?
That one is cash only. It's $15 cash.
Also, if you, for an additional $5, you can get the code for, a Steam code for a game along with it, so that's a really cool deal.
And anytime I've talked to them, as all the other ones, they just love to talk to you about it. That's why they're into Pinny Arcade in general. The next one we have is the Creepy Doll pin. So the next two are in Bandland. So the Creepy Doll pin is from Loaded Ready to Run, and it is in Bandland. Those are $10. And most of the Bandland also have their old pins, so you can go and get several of the Pinny Arcade pins.
They have a deal where if you can buy all 4 of them for $50 because their older pins are now $15. So you can buy all 4 of Loading Ready Runs for $50.
You'd be a fool not to take advantage of that.
The last pin that was on the website was the Camp We Don't Want You Haunted Beaver pin. That one is from Katie Rice. She also has her old pins, and that one is a $15 pin. That one you're probably going to have to stand in the line for. Loaded Ready Run also.
Worth it.
They're right next to each other.
Great folks.
Again, great people to talk to. Cannot talk these people up enough. Now, when we got to PAX, first person that went into the expo hall sent a Slack message and said, "Hey, look what I found." And we went, "That's not supposed to be here. What is that?" So there's a head crab pin at We Love Fine. Again, we didn't know about this. These pins do pop up. Pinny Arcade doesn't necessarily know, I don't think 100%, if they're going to bring a pin, because it's their choice if they're bringing something when they want to throw that pin out there. That one is a $15 cash pin, or if you pay with the card, they do charge tax.
Half-Life 3.
Yes, it is
Confirmed.
a Half-Life 3 pin. So there's a few other sets at merch. There's the Infu pins,
Yeah.
and I didn't actually look those prices up. Is it 30?
25.
25? Okay. What? And 30 for the core. So the info, you get 3 pins for 25. And the core 2, you get the lanyard and the 4 pins for 30. You don't get the lanyards anymore?
Lanyard is 2 sets at a time. The deal is different here. Sorry.
If you
Just
order it
kidding.
online, you get the lanyard with it.
Merch policies.
Apparently I'm wrong.
JK.
JK. And of course, we have the I'm going to say this wrong. Armageddon. So the Armageddon pins, if you buy a case here, it is $200 flat. If you buy them at the store, what are they? 200 and
That's over 216.
216?
And then shipping is another like 15.
Okay.
So you pay like 230.
So you're saving about $30 if you buy a case here. The good thing about these, if you buy a case, we have done a lot of tests on this. By the Anarchy as my witness. We have done a lot of tests. You will get all of the pins, and you will either get, from what we've seen, a Polaroid, 2 Polaroid, or a Cinegabe, and you'll have to collect that one or
Which
2
are
other.
the 2 blacked out ones. That's what those are.
Yeah. So the case, you're saving money, you're getting most of the collection, and you're getting a lot of pins. Or you can buy them for $18 a piece, and you get 2 pins, and it's a random draw.
Any extras you get, take them straight to the staff trading event. 1 p.m. Q Hall.
Line up early.
Or the community trading events.
That too. This guy.
The last pins to talk about are the staff trading sets. The staff are currently on Series 3. I'm not sure if they all have some of their older pins. They usually try to bring a few, but I think it depends if they can or if they run out. So this year we have Gabby and Tyke. You can get those from Mike and Jerry. And then, of course, we have the other 13 staff trading this year. Yeah, is that right? Am I counting wrong? Is it 12?
Everyone on the picture.
Missing one, yeah.
Okay, and Jamie is here. So there is 13, and she will trade you, because I know she has some pins. So in that series, there's 13. There's 12 here, obviously. They're one-to-one trades. No matter what you trade them, they will give you their face. They will give you 2 faces. If they have somebody else's face, they will give you that face.
Whatever pins on their lanyard.
If they have a Hannah, they will give you that. They probably won't have a Hannah, but if they will,
Or if they had a DLC, they did that at one PAX.
they did. And again, staff trading event, you can trade 2 per person at that event
Per day.
per day. Well, staff trading is 1 day.
If you run into them out in the convention, is what he's talking about. It's same rules, 2 per day, period, 2 per person per day. But if they're not only at the staff training events, they're out and about, milling around, working, most of them.
Some of
at
them
times.
may already be here. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna stand up for my part because I just had back surgery. So we've gone through, we've been to PAX. PAX is done, we go home. We've got all these cool pins. We've got them in lanyards. We've got them piled up in boxes. What do we do with them? They're cool. I loved them so much when I was at PAX, but PAX is only 3 days out of the year, or 12 days out of the year for some people if they go to multiple PAX. You can do so many different things with these pins. Everyone's kind of devised their own organizational system, ways to display them, different things you can do with them. I've saw some pictures on the forums. Again, you go back to our community resources. The forums are a great resource where you can see all these cool things that people do. Like this, one of our forum members right here took like Magic the Gathering collectible card game sleeves, put the pins in the sleeves, and then put them in a binder. And so he has them all organized by developer, by different packs, things like that. They actually sell binders like these online, like you can buy them on Amazon and things like that, that have are specifically designed for trading pins and things like that, so you can keep them organized and a way to keep them on your shelf and things like that. If you go to the next one, some people like to frame them. Some people, like this is a kind of an Ironwood, real classy minimalist frame that someone did that was posted on the forums. It has the lookout set pins as well as Hannah, so it covers all the pins that have been released for the Ironwood. If you look up here up front are some of my personal displays. I'm real big into making nice, clean displays to show off my collection. I make one for every PAX that I go to. Some PAX have fewer pins, some have more, so the more pins, the bigger the display, the fewer pins, the smaller the display. But what you do with your pins is all up to you. Thank you. Thanks, Vanna. It all comes down to what you want to do. If you want to do like a custom framed like this, you're going to have to pay a little bit of money and put that forward, but it's a cool piece of art to hang on your walls of your home or your apartment. If you're happy with them just sitting in a box for 360 days out of the year, that's cool too. They're your pins. You do with them what you want. You don't have to use these as your standard for what I have to do with my pins. If you've got 3 pins and you love those pins and you put them on your lanyard when you come to PAX, awesome. You've got cool things that make you happy. and then you can interact with the community and say, oh, wow, you got the pin from East 14, where Leroy Jenkins made you tear your uvula in half.
Leroy.
So if you want to go on to the next,
So
next
finally-
slide. So we've covered a lot real quick. We found from previous panels that we want to spend more time on Q&A, having you guys ask us questions instead of us just talking to you. So, but before we get to that, we really want to give some special thanks out. And if May, if you want to.
Well, I really want to say, we all really want to say thank you to everyone at this PAX. First, for all you guys for coming, for Pinny Arcade for starting this hobby for us, and for all the people who made donations. And I'm pretty sure I got everyone on this slide, but I may have missed somebody. But basically, virtually every company or group or person that's here that has made a Pinny Arcade pin and has it with them has donated to this. That's where the pins that came on the 51st lanyards came from, as well as we have some raffle items also, which is why you have raffle tickets. So if you're wandering around the hall and you see someone that has a Pinny Arcade pin that they're selling or giving away or something, like a store or whatever, please thank them for donating to us and let them know that they were recognized, so they will do it again next time.
So now we want to take some questions, any questions you guys may
Real
have for
quick,
us.
though,
Oh, go ahead.
we're going to give out our prizes.
Oh, you want to do that before the Q&A?
Yeah, let's do it real quick.
That way we can.
I don't want to run out
with
of time.
the
Okay,
Q&A.
yep. All right, so real quick, just to make sure, did everybody who came in, I saw some people coming late, did anybody miss out on getting a raffle ticket? If you did, raise your hand, and the lovely young Craig will run and hook you up.
Go, Craig, go. Okay, so if there's any questions while we're handing out the last of the,
Yeah, we'll do the raffle real quick, and then we'll run into the Q&A.
So does anyone have a question while the last few raffle
Yeah,
tickets?
go ahead, yeah.
and then so this is,
No.
There's a mic up here.
okay, just kidding.
So you guys left off the picture of the Minneapolis Taco Bell meetup for the pin trading event, so
I
just,
actually really wanted to include that.
That was
So-
not an officially sanctioned event, sir.
I'm afraid you need to sit down, please.
so Evan, this is a question specifically for you, because Q doesn't care about cats. You are now given a Sophie's choice. An evil wizard takes Craig and says he's going to kill him, or you can have any pin off Even Star's lanyard. Which Kemper do you choose?
So Craig dies, or I take someone's pin.
Any Kemper off.
What if I killed Craig? Based purely on design, because we all know that the Australian 2013 Kemper is coveted. Man. I think, I know it's tough. I'm going to go with Kitty Kemper, the prime 2013, where he's a tiny little cat. He's wrapped in a scarf. It was the first pin that I saw at my first PAX that I knew I wanted to collect other pins other than what I was just going to. So it really got me into the whole thing. So
That's the correct answer. And Craig's dead.
All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll start going with the raffle here. If you guys want to just draw out of the bag, what are we drawing for first?
So we've got, you might see some community members with forum bags, and so we have a donation for, these
These
are
are just
tote
little
bags.
totes?
They're not the full forum bags.
The tote bag
Yeah,
is
these are tote
very
bags.
handy.
in order
Nice little
to
tote
maximize our Q&A time, we'll try to do these kind of rapid
Yeah.
fire too. So first number is 372-582. That is 372-582. Anyone got it?
Raise your hand.
Rise. All right, anyway.
Okay, 372-646. All right.
Yeah!
Somebody get something.
I think we're in another forum tote,
All right.
372-647.
Woo! If you don't want your prize, you don't have to claim it too. It's just heads up. Yeah, I'll take the pins. It's fine. All right, next one. I'm going to assume they're all 372 at this point. 661.
Oh, that's me.
That is you.
All right. And so the next are shirts from, oh, just kidding. This is an actual
Full forum messenger.
full messenger bag.
Special.
So that's
It's
what-
not personalized, but you could.
Maybe
I
not
do have some
special.
pins with me that will write on it if whoever gets it wants to personalize it.
And the winner is 372632.
Woo!
Congratulations. And so the next one are from Versus Evil, which has some pins, and these are shirts for upcoming game, or
I don't know, they just said, here's some
there you
shirts."
go, some swag.
Shirts
619.
from 1999.
Last three numbers, 619. Fine.
Just kidding. How about 660? There you go.
Highly technical.
So two more.
Let's go ahead and give them all out right now.
Yeah. Okay.
614. Woo, we're there in the back. Awesome.
Good hustle.
And for the next 620. Just kidding.
How about 568? There it is.
Yep. So this is a donation from a community member. It's 7 of the Armageddon
I think it's,
pins, including the zombie juice.
yes.
Which is one of the rarer ones. And the winner is 750. Congratulations.
Provec.
And then we've got from Loading Ready Run, the 2 Creepy Dolls, the original Creepy Doll and the Creepy Doll Barbecue.
580.
All right, congratulations. So now we've got from Katie Rice, 2 pins, including the current Upset Beaver one.
Upset.
Oh, I keep wanting to say Angry Beavers
He's mighty
as a
fast.
throwback from my childhood, but 679. Oh, over in the corner.
All right.
Congratulations.
Next we have
This is a community member donation by way of the Cookie Brigade, which is IOTA, the IOTA pin, right?
That's right. 670. There's that hype.
Someone finally.
She's got
Don't
the right
get
idea.
hype, stay hype. So from Chris Straub, we've got from the Brood Hollow set, Iris and Zane and Mercy, I believe, right? Zane. And the winner is 678.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right. What do we have left?
The Versus Evil combo set, which is 2 pins and the shirt.
581. Woo! I like your hat.
Sorry, guys.
Easy there, buckaroo.
If anybody has a question about this next one, find me after, because I make them, and that's.
Would you like to introduce it, sir?
Okay, so we originally came up with a design for a stamp, and it was kind of our logo that we used for a long time. We ended up going to the Pinny Arcade Trading stamp that is on all the forum bags. This is one of those stamps. So a lot of us, if we have them, when we trade online, we'll just stamp them. Like we'll stamp the packaging or whatever you send them. So that's what this is. Stop leaning. I'm not giving it out.
Well, yeah, you are.
Okay.
And the number is
585.
Sorry.
We've just had a surprise donation for the 2 Ninja Attack, for the surprise attack pins.
Cash only. And that number is 667. Well, good.
Just kidding. That number is 663.
All right.
And the final one, can I? So the final one is a double blind merch that was only available in the, oh, just kidding. No, I just, we'll do this once. I forgot there was something under the table. So we will do the double blind merch right now. Okay. So this is a print run of 500.
This is the big one.
So, and the winner is 669.
All right.
Congratulations. And so there is another, I completely forgot yeah, this is a Fuku bag donated from the community members, each for the past 2 years. Certain someone in the corner. Oh, no?
No, that's actually his
Next,
name.
nope.
Nope.
And then, so Penny Arcade the past 2 years on New Year's Eve, they put together like a swag bag, and it was $75 the first year, $80 the second, and it comes with a bunch of random stuff, which is worth way more than what you're paying for, and it's a great deal. And there's surprises. So the winner is 749. Congratulations in the back. So if there's any more questions, that's.
Oh, hey!
All right. So that's the end of our raffle.
That's our raffle.
All we gave away was like 80 different things.
No! It's mine.
This all shows you how generous our community is that so many things we kept getting word to raffle.
Oh, Penny Arcade donated a
Yes.
core South set and a limited edition pin, and that one is
638. 638.
congratulations.
638.
Okay, for real.
For real.
Last call on raffle.
I have a water
Going
bottle.
once, going twice, sold.
One Galaxy.
Okay,
Samsung Explorer.
So now for the Q&A. If any of you guys have any questions about pins, pin trading, or the community, feel free to come up to the microphone and ask us, and we'll give you the best answer we can. Go ahead.
Anything your heart desires.
What are your whoa?
It's a microphone.
What are your thoughts on the Triad Wars pin?
I guess we'll just go down the line real quick. We'll start with.
So I feel like we
Fate.
should deliver an explanation.
Okay, yeah.
that.
So let's talk real quick about what it is. So normally when we see a pin released, we see it through PAX, we see it through the PAX Pin Quest, we see it through the Pinny Arcade website, we see it through PA, we see it through a tweet, some kind of announcement regarding a particular pin. Recently, we found a pin that had been released for a game called Triad Wars. It looks like this. And it was never announced specifically on any of the normal media outlets. Someone found it deep buried 6 months ago in a forum post and tracked it down. So as of right now, within our pin community, there are only, three known existences of this pin. And the game itself is not going to make it to release, has kind of fallen off, but they still have the pins. So that's kind of a little bit of backstory on it. As far as opinions go, we'll just start and work our way down, I guess.
So one thing real quick, as we've said, we catch stuff on the forums, and normally we're very on the ball. I think we've been caught off guard twice. Naughty Dog pin, we thought we were good, and then they're like, oh, we're giving away 220. It was some number
Some
that
small number.
it was a small number, and then everyone freaked. So they're like, how am I going to get this pin?
I think it was 30 because it was the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, but there was a small number
Yeah.
released at first. Triad Wars pin, we missed it for 6-7 months.
How embarrassing.
June. So I promise this is an outlier. This pin has been told, they told us through email, several of us, that, oh, you guys are interested in this pin? Okay, we'll go ahead and get it out there. We don't know when. It's soon. I don't think if you're a completionist, you need to freak out. I think that you can be patient, and if you go on the forums, we will tell you exactly when it is available, and they will have, I'm assuming, at least 1,000, because that's normally the rule that we went by. So there will be plenty. Follow the forums. We'll keep you up to date.
Keep
And
them a
don't
little
freak
bit more
out.
succinct.
I think the
so we can
idea of
roll
it's
through
cool
more.
that there are pins out there that don't reach the light of day.
I
and
don't.
that no one ever talks about.
At the very
I just think
least,
it's really interesting. like,
interesting
that just
case
pops up.
study. But it's an ugly pin. I don't want it.
I think it's the company that makes Sleeping Dogs, and that was one of my favorite games from a few years ago. So I'd much rather like a sleeping dog pin. But.
My opinion on it is that I would like one. That's all.
I actually think it's a nice looking pin. I think it's interesting that there are pins out there that we don't hear about. I kind of came out through the discussion about this that there are games that have made pins and they just never released them. And it's kind of reminds me also like the Moonrise pin where they said they were going to make 3 pins and then they canceled the game and we only got 2 of them, which is sad.
They were interlocking, which made it even worse.
Is that satisfactory?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So, for the casual collector,
Right.
what do you think is the best way for someone to differentiate between what they're trying to trade and what they're trying to just show off? 2 different lanyards, or the bags, or what?
That's a
Whatever works for
good
you.
question.
Whatever works for me.
2 lanyards is a pretty good, because I carry around 2 lanyards. Mine are both for trades, and people usually just ask, like, which one are you trading? And I usually just say, oh, they're both for trade, but if you don't, it gets heavy after a while. But the 2 lanyards, like, oh no, and you can just pull out this one. This one's all for trade, and these are just, I'd like to display them.
Another thing, if you're trying to help differentiate and you have 2 lanyards, if you don't have a bag yet, and they're trying to, well, which ones are for trade? If you really want to keep those pins, you don't want to trade those certain pins, get locking bags.
Okay.
You could be, okay, the ones without the locking bags. If they're trying to look through your lanyard, that way they know exactly which ones you're willing to and which ones you're not willing to. And it'll just help differentiate instead of going back and forth on if one is or isn't.
And I would definitely recommend locking backs, especially in any pin that you want to definitely keep, because I have lost pins off my lanyard without locking backs. I've actually lost a few pins with a locking back, but you lose them much easier with a normal back than a locking back. And that's a really sad event.
Especially when it's a DLC at Prime 13.
The best thing I can recommend is talking to people. If you have a lanyard that, if you have 2 lanyards, or, you have all these pins, interact with people. It's just real simple to tell them, oh, no, I'm sorry, these aren't for trade. And don't ever feel bad that, I'm sorry, I don't want to trade this. It means something to me. That's perfectly an acceptable answer, and no one should ever be confused or upset that you're just not willing to trade because you like these. But this other lanyard I have, are totally for trade. So
I've even seen people have 1 lanyard and say, well, these 3 pins are for trade and the rest are mine. And that's a fine solution too.
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you for your question.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm pretty new to pinning. I just started last year at PAX South. So
Welcome.
1 year.
One year
Happy
anniversary.
anniversary.
Don't you get a chip,
Yeah,
I think?
It's my pinning anniversary.
Here's your 1 year coin.
I had a question about the Moonrise pens because I got the 2, and now I
there's
don't
no
have the
third.
third
So let's.
because they went independent.
Right. So what happened?
What happened? And then my second question is, what is everybody's favorite pen?
Okay, so we'll start off with the Moonrise real quick. They had plans, like you saw the banner that had the 3 pins, and then, this is the first one, the Ember Jaw, and then the Anemone came out at PAX Prime, and then the game didn't do so well. They basically announced that they were canceling the game was going to be shutting down, and so that they didn't get the 3rd Snap Trap pin made and out there, and that really disappointed a lot of people because they were one of the biggest supporters of the Pinny Arcade program. They won
won
of the
a
best
community
booths.
award for best company to interacting with the community.
Yeah, so that's we did have a community member actually make some mock-up personal versions of it just for those of us that were like hurt inside.
Completionist.
Right, yeah, completionists. Or casual people that just absolutely love.
This is
That's the pen.
It's a little, like the kind of printed.
Laser etch.
because the
neat
company
little-
did release what the last pin would
They
look
released the art, but they never released the pin.
So if someone's interested in making their own copy of the pin, the gentleman who made it has all the files to make it. He said it's very time consuming, so he's not making anymore, but he's willing to share the information with anyone that wants to do it.
As far as favorite pin, we'll just go down the line.
So, anyone that knows me,
We asked favorite pin, not entire life story.
there's.
About 3 paragraphs.
I can do that. All right. So, I actually have 2. There's.
Hey, buddy.
What's up? So there's the shields, the 10-year shields. There's actually a few misprints. There's at least 1 Prime shield that says PAX Oz. And there's, we think, 12 PAX Oz that say PAX Prime. And I like those. So hopefully there's not an East one, because I will literally throw pins at you until you say, okay, fine. So those are
Seen
definitely
it
my
happen,
two
it's not
favorite.
pretty.
I think Leroy is my favorite pin. I couldn't actually get it at East that year. I ran into him like twice and he was out of pins. But I played WoW way too much, and that I still watch that video and laugh. So
For the
it's
Lord.
just well, and it's going to be the full throttle pin that they release at Prime.
My favorite pin is the Ellie pin from The Last of Us. I love that game. It made me feel feels, and I think that pin just absolutely captures that character.
Mine is also the Leroy Jenkins pin. It's also my avatar on the forums. So, yeah, I love it. Love Hearthstone.
Okay, I'm old. Probably my favorite is the Star Trek pin because I watched Star
good
Trek when
pin.
it was on
It's a
the air
good
for real back in the 1960s. So
Plan
you know.
What a save.
For me, it's probably Tycho, because I'm a huge Tycho fan, and it just kind of summarizes. That's right about the time I got into pin trading, and I'm a big Tycho person, so I'm a big Os Tycho guy.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, oh, well, a little too close. I got this pin from the BioWare base. It's the Dragon Age one. And it's not a PAX pin per se. Has there ever been a pin that you guys really wish was a Pinny Arcade pin and ended up being just a studio pin or something?
That
the
is
original
a-
Twitch pin from
Yeah.
2014, I think May, I think you have it.
Yes, I do. I really
It's-
like this pin.
I think it's better than the Twitch pins. They last year they did 3 Pinny Arcade pins, and it's got the glitch and it says like Twitch in PAX 2014. I really like that pin that I got. And Rock Band, not Rock Band, but Harmonix did a
Harmonix,
Dance
yeah.
Central pin at East a couple years ago that wasn't an official Pinny Arcade pin, and I really like that one.
Yeah, there's like pins as a marketing tool are just blowing up like crazy. Like everybody's starting their own pin program. Blizzard has one. Twitch is starting to do one. Marvel is doing all the Comic-Con pins and things like that. We're just going to see a lot more pins, and hopefully they still make the Pinny Arcade ones as well.
And you know, when it comes to trading pins, when you trade with an individual, it's up to the individuals whether you have to do Penny Arcade for Penny Arcade. So if you really like a Blizzard pin, and you know, someone might be willing to do a trade with you, just be aware that if you're trading with any of the staff, it has to be a Penny Arcade pin for a Penny Arcade pin.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have 2 questions and they go together. How much money have you spent?
No, see.
And that not only includes, like, your framing, your display, buying for other friends. Okay, no. But, and then the second question I have is, I both love and hate blind boxes. Did that increase how much money you spent all of a sudden?
That's a good one.
So regarding that first question, it's like, okay, it's like traveling overseas. You don't convert back to your home currency. You just go with it.
I'm gonna make an executive decision for the panel on the first part of your question and say no comment.
More than I should.
All of it.
Now the second,
But it's
What
worth.
percentage of your income?
the second
No, that's for
question
the
is
future.
actually a great question. For the completionist, the person that wants to have all the pins, it definitely increased sales because I've got to buy all these to get them. How am I going to get them if I don't buy them? As far as the casual person, the person that's like, oh, I just want 1 or 2 pins out of this whole set, it seems like it's really frustrating because they only want these 2 pins and their likelihood of getting them is more difficult. And so that's where trading kind of comes into the mix, but then with the problem of disparated rarities, like, oh, this one's super rare and these are common, and all I got was the 2 commons, it makes it really difficult for the casual pin trader to get just that 1 pin they want instead of just being able to buy it.
I love the blind boxes. I think it's
You're talking about the Like
not the
Armageddon?
Armageddon, just the.
You're referring to the Armageddon.
Were you
pens,
referring
right?
to the Armageddon?
I'm both.
I like the
because,
regular.
it creates a whole new
Yeah, those are two
aspect.
totally.
Yeah.
totally
It's
different
fun to.
ones.
I'm missing the DLC pin, which, like most people are, because it's insane.
I got an extra
So I'm a filthy casual, but I like. I don't know. I think it's a good deal, and it's a fun surprise to open them up and see what you'll get, because there are some really good surprises in there, including like the DSB merch that they threw in there. So I'm for them, and they've announced that they're going to do another.
Yeah, that's definitely something.
Blind box set this
Yeah.
year.
So my opinion is I really love opening up and finding out what's inside and not knowing before you open, so that's a lot of fun. I would personally prefer if they had something, like with the Armageddon, they had, well, we have so many of these pins, so many of these, and then these 2 are really rare, or 3 or whatever. I would really rather if they just said, here are 12 pins, we made the same number of all of them, but you don't know which ones you're getting in the box, because to me, that would promote me to trade with, well, if you make all the pins the same, it promotes me to trade to get the, I'll buy the 12 boxes and then I'll trade to get what I don't have, rather than just buy more boxes to get that rare one that I haven't been able to get yet.
Yeah, I agree.
And one thing I'd like to say about the DSBs, I love just the DSBs in general. They're really hard to get, obviously. They sell in like 10 minutes.
If that.
If that. 5 minutes? I didn't get any. But the Armageddon set, I have been trying to cut back on how much I spend. I haven't spent anything since Prime. So I will say that if you don't want to buy the Armageddon set, there's maybe members that have bought 3 cases, 5 cases.
9
I've heard of
cases.
9 cases.
You're gonna see a lot of Armageddon. at
A lot
the
of
staff
people are
trade.
like, if you go, oh, what can I trade this for? Now the Cinegabe or Cinnabon, that one's a little harder. Portrait, the rest of them, a lot of them are like, what? I have 8 of them. What do you want to trade?
That picture of all the
Don't feel like you have to spend the
anarchies
money.
in the presentation, that's my lanyard. I have a lot of them.
Don't feel like you have to drop $200. Like there's a lot of people that have a lot of those pins that will definitely help.
Also, Club PA we never mentioned is for it's 35
30.
$30 a year.
Thank you for your
get
question.
6 months.
Or 6 months. I don't know how to count. It's $30 for 6 months. You get access to the comic early, but you also get a $10 gift card to the Penny Arcade store, and you also get 5% off every online order.
And
So
you
that-
get a pin.
And you get a special exclusive pin for each year. There's 2 out there.
There is a tier at $15.
So it helps a little bit. It usually cancels out the shipping.
There is a tier at $15 that does not include the pin, but you still get all the other perks. So if you're just a
thinking-
fan of PA, go for it.
And if you're a big fan of PA, you get access to the staff podcast, which is great to listen to. So that's just another way to. I mean, you're spending to save, but I think it works out.
So we've done the math over here.
And it's great to see everything early, too.
So in relation to the last question, I did some quick math while she was asking that question. And I had no idea that this was the number I would get. But over the last 3 years, I have personally spent approximately $6,600 on this hobby.
It get worse.
Arcade, you're
That's no comment.
Yeah, I think the takeaway here is that it can be an expensive hobby, but you choose your own level of involvement here.
Exactly.
And trading is always an option.
And I should point out that that's reflective of 1 DLC shy of almost 2 complete sets. So that's most people. That's even ridiculous for most people. So, which means you've spent probably $10,000.
I calculated how much because I actually traded for a DLC.
Okay.
So I lost all East 14 and Prime 13. I'm probably floating at probably 10, 15K.
Yeah.
But I have like 2 or 3 complete sets.
Yeah. Jesus.
It doesn't have to be you, though.
On
Just
that,
collect the ones you like, people.
on that horrible, depressing, sad note, I want to thank everyone for their questions. We've got just a couple more minutes. Anyone have any more last questions? Looks like everybody's about ready to wrap it up.
And as you
I
leave,
just-
don't forget to pick up the card for.
Yeah, I
grab
think there's
your
back there
cool
for-
card. I want to thank everybody that came out to support our community panel. We really appreciate it. Thank you for making
join the
this
community outside of PAX,
a
too.
legitimate thing for us.
I'd like to say one last thing. Have any of you guys, do you get post-PAX depression? Anybody? Start.
We're basically the best support group for that.
The community itself, we talk all the time. You don't have to talk. I know a lot of people that just enjoy reading, knowing that those people are there. If you want to join in, join in. If you just want to join the groups, just to kind of listen in, join the groups. It's the best community that I've ever been in, and you always have the people there after PAX that understand exactly how you feel. And I just can't say enough about the community as a whole. So definitely join in if you're willing.
So 1 o'clock, Q room
Get there early.
for the staff
We recommend
trading.
you kind of get lunch quick and go and line up by noon.
And then 5:30 at the main entrance lobby near
across
the escalators for community trading. And hope to see you guys everywhere.
Don't
And-
forget your code at the door.
Thank you, guys.
And we,
Thank you for coming.
I know a lot of us are planning on trading after this panel, so if you guys are wanting to trade, we'll be trading outside, and if anybody wants to be in Slack, just find me and I'll add you.
Thanks, guys.
Ow, ow!